Hello, welcome back, and we're going to be starting week 14. So thank you for watching all the videos during week 13, and this is going to be the same thing except the video shouldn't be 52 minutes long this time. I'm going to try to make them not that long anymore because that's not fair to you guys. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go back to our story, A Visit to the Desert. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at three different things. We're going to look at character, setting, and plot. So let's go ahead and read this together. As you read A Visit to the Desert, think about plot. What is the plot? A plot is the events that happen in the beginning, middle, and end of a story. Identifying important events in the plot will help you understand what happens in the story. So, in student speak, the plot is what happens in the story. So think about a story you like and think about what the plot is. For example, when we read the Pete the Cat about his white shoes and how they have different colors, the plot would be his shoes change every time he steps in something else. But it's okay, and he just keeps on going. Let's look at the next one now. Well, if my device seems to want to connect, it looks like I'm losing internet. Alright, while my device takes a second to get back up, I want you to think about another story and try to think about the plot. Alright, there we go. Now it's working. Yeah, that was a nice little break you could have right there. So, let's go ahead and read A Visit to the Desert again together. That way we can see what the plot is, at least on this page. Essential question: how do animals survive? Read about how animals survive in a desert climate. Alright. Tim was looking forward to this vacation. Then his parents told him they would be visiting Grandma in Nevada. Tim was unhappy. He wanted to be with his friends this summer. Grandma is eager to see you, Mom said. She can't wait to take you on a desert hike. Alright, based off of what we just read, what do you think the plot is so far? The plot, I think, is, the beginning plot at least, is he has to go visit his grandma in the desert. And he may not want to. Alright, next one. Now we're going to model the plot. So as we read the passage, we're going to highlight an event that happens in the beginning of the story. And we're going to write this information in a graphic organizer to help us. So this passage over here on A Visit to the Desert is Tim was looking forward to this vacation. Then his parents told him he would be visiting his grandma in Nevada. Tim was unhappy. He wanted to be with his friends this summer. So let's go ahead and highlight what we think the plot is. I'm thinking his parents told him the family would be visiting Grandma in Nevada. That would be the beginning plot. So he was looking forward to his vacation, but he's going to Nevada. Yep, and then that's what they have as well. So he was unhappy because he had to go to Nevada for vacation. Let's go ahead and see what the middle plot might be. So the next morning, Grandma met them at the airport. Then as they drove to the desert, as they hiked, Grandma explained that animals enjoy the open desert space. It gives them the freedom to move from place to place. Tim learned that the animals find ways to adapt to the hot desert weather. He wondered if he could get used to the desert climate. What do you think the plot is going to be for this one? Well, let's go ahead and see. Oh, there's a page 2 as well, which means it's time for us to head back. Oh, nope, that'll be next. All right. Okay. So, the middle plot would be they drove to the desert. So now they're driving to the desert. And Tim gets to see the animals. And then the end plot is, let's go ahead and read number 2. This vacation is going by too fast, Tim said. They asked Tim about the heat. What heat, Tim asked. I feel as fresh and cool as a new flower. I've adapted. Everyone laughed. All right, so what do you think our end plot is then? Well, our end plot is Tim adapted and he is happy. He learned from the desert and now he actually likes it. That's awesome. So another thing we need to talk about though is we need to talk about the setting. So what a setting is, if I can go back. A setting is where the plot happens. The setting is where the story happens. So where is this story happening? This story's happening in the desert. See? In the desert. So remember, the setting is where the story is happening. And then the characters are who are involved in the story. So we have Tim and then Grandma, and think of a couple other people that are also involved in this story. All right, and now, very important thing, get out your notebooks that I gave you. If you're the Monday, Wednesday class, I know you don't have them yet, so get a piece of paper. And I want you to copy down this question into your notebook. The question is, what setting is the story in? What setting is the story in? And now do me a favor, and I want you to pause this after I say these words of go ahead and answer the question or draw a picture. Do your best. You won't get points taken off if you do your best, even if you don't get it correct. All right. So we will see you back after you unpause. And I'm going to give a couple seconds while I get my next thing up. For some reason, these decide to freeze. Okay, now they're back up. That's good. All right, we're going to do some phoneme blending. If you notice now, we don't have the words like we did before. Now we have to figure it out. Without the words being in front of us. So I'm going to play the word. Clop. What's the first sound clop makes? K. U. A. P. Clop. Perfect. All right, we're going to do about 10 of these. All right, our next word is mope. What's the first word? What's the first sound? O. P. Is that long O or short O? Well, it makes the O sound. It makes ope. Mope. Since it makes mope, it is a long O. So that means there's an E at the end. All right, next one. All right, let's hear that one more time. Mr. Cannon couldn't hear that as clearly. O. O. N. Lone. O. O. Is that a short O or a long O? Lone. That's a short O, and there's no E at the end of it. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a long O. But it doesn't have an E, but that's because it's a special case. Mr. Cannon's bad. All right, next one. Pop. P. A. P. Pop. Does pop have a long O or a short O? Remember, long O sounds like O. Short O sounds like A. Pop. That is a short O. All right, next word. Got. G. A. T. Got. Is got a long O or a short O? It's a short O because it sounds like ah, got. All right, next one. And we're also going to do some of these in class as well. Hope. O. P. Hope. Is hope a long O or a short O? It's a long O because it makes the O sound. Hope. Great. All right, one more because we're going to do these in class too. All right. Top. T. A. P. Is top a long O or a short O? It's a short O because it makes that ah sound. All right, very good. Now the next thing I want to look at is we're going to look at some nouns. So I had a little grammar noun sheet, and we're going to do part of this together, and you're going to answer a question on your own too. All right. A noun is a word that names a person, a place, or a thing. Some nouns name places. The beach is fun. Some nouns name things. Snow is cold. This is also a noun here. What do you think this is? It's a lizard. And we're going to use the then that's a lizard. So what we're going to do is we're going to use things from the story we read, and we're going to underline the nouns that name a place or a thing. So not a person, just a place or thing. Her grandmother lives in the desert. Is one of these a place or a thing? What's grandmother? Grandmother is a person, and we're not underlining person. We're not underlining people right now. So I'm going to give you a hint too. What is a place? Is there a place here? Yes. Desert. Desert is a place. All right, let's look at the next one. My father showed me a lizard. Which one is the place or thing? Remember, father is a person, so it's not that one. Even though it's still a noun, it's not the one we're underlining. My father showed me a lizard. My sister puts food in a bowl. My sister puts food in a bowl. Do we have any places or things in here? Of course, we have the person, but we don't need the person, even though that's still a noun. Well, thing can be anything that you can touch. So, food. We can eat food. Food is a noun. But there's one more noun in here. What do you think it is? It's bowl. Because bowl is something you can eat out of, so it is a thing. His grandfather hiked up the trail. His grandfather hiked up the trail. Is there a place or a thing in here? Of course, grandfather, that's a noun, but remember it's a person, so we're not including that. Well, the trail is a place. All right, our teacher read about penguins. Well, we already know about lizards. Lizards are things, right? So wouldn't penguins also be things because they're both animals? Yep. All right. The next thing you're going to do for homework is you're going to do a guided writing with me. I'm going to write a sentence. You're going to write the sentence into your notebooks. Okay? This goes in your notebook. So I'm going to write a sentence about a place or thing and circle the nouns in the sentence. All right. Disneyland is fun because I can eat churros and get a soda. Disneyland is fun because I can eat churros and get a soda. All right, go ahead and write down that sentence. And now what you're going to do is you're going to circle the nouns yourself. All right, there's 3 of them. There's 3 nouns I want you to circle. All right, go ahead and pause your video and solve this in your notebook. And when you resume, we will go to the next section. All right, we're going to start the next section. So, we're going to look at inflectional endings. If you remember what an inflectional ending is, it can be ED, which is one we look at a lot. It could be ING, and those are the two we're going to be looking at right now. So for example, if we add hope, it as an ED would be hoped, and it as an ING would be hoping. Remember, we take out the E and add the inflectional ending. All right, let's go ahead and look at our little fun activity with the birds. Okay, so we have hop down here. I think it would be good to also go over what happens when we have the word hop. All right, so when you have something without an E on the end or a vowel on the end, what you do is you double the consonant. So when you add the ED, it becomes hopped instead of hoped. When you add the ING, it's going to be hopping. All right. Now, we're trying to figure out how to add ED to hop. So we need this P. I'll go ahead and turn the sounds on. And then we need the ED. And then we get hopped. All right. Let's go ahead and find another word. Oh, now we have hoped. Remember, take out the E and add an ED. Take out the E, add an ED. Oh, sorry. Mr. Cannon's getting a headache from the bird noises. Take out the E, add an ED. So we took out the bird up on the top and added the ED bird, who's a little chunky. Little chunky bird. All right. Next word we're going to look at is jump. Jump. So jump is an interesting one because it doesn't follow that standard rule I was talking about where you need to add the extra consonant to the end. With this one, you just need the ED. There we go. So we have jumped. Round 2. All right. We have close. Close. All right. Remember, take out the E. Add an ED. All right, let's look at the next one. Vote. So we want to change it to voted. So we need to take out the E, add an ED. All right. Let's look at the next one. All right, joke. We take out the E, add an ED. Cool. Round 3. Let's see if we can get some INGs. Nope, not yet. All right, bat. Bat. We have a T at the end. What do you think we need to do? We need to double up the consonant. So we're going to put a T and then an ED. So we get batted instead of baited. All right, next one. Baked. All right, we have to take out the E, add an ED. great. Okay. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to move on to the next part. Rub. Well, we have that consonant at the end, so we're going to double up the consonant and add an ED. All right, great. Okay, so that's going to be all we do right now. Yep, we did great. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at Sled Dogs Run. I'm going to see how many pages it is. That way we have a little bit of a time frame. It's a bit of a longer book, I notice. Okay. All right. So Sled Dogs Run. Our essential question is, how do animals survive? Read about how sled dogs that live in a very cold environment. All right. And our genre is realistic fiction. Remember, realistic fiction is where it could happen in real life, but it didn't. It's a fake story that could have happened if it did. All right, we're going to start with the beginning. All right. Now we can see these cute little dogs with their bowls and stuff, and we're going to read the next part. All right. So since he's the fastest, he'll be the one in front of the pack. It's because they need to practice. Because sled dogs don't just become sled dogs by instinct. They need to practice becoming sled dogs. So I want you to think about what's going to happen at the first snow. You can use your make prediction strategy to help you figure that out. All right, next one. So the dogs are super excited about running. They are eager. That's one of our vocab words. Sense and freedom are also some of our vocab words. So, do you think the dogs are excited or don't like sledding based on their reactions? Because they run in circles and they howl and cry and yip with joy. So, they probably like it. All right. I like this picture. It's really cool. So we might be getting some conflict here. You don't want to mess with a moose. Moose are powerful. So what do you think she means by blinded? I want you to pause the video and try to figure out why she means blinded. All right. She means blinded because the snow is it just looks like white. And especially when you have a lot of things in your view, there's not a lot to see. So they effectively can't see where they're going, so there's going to be a problem. So now the narrator is going to use the dogs to go home because her papa said, trust the dogs. All right, so they ended up trusting the dogs and getting home. They're really happy about being back home because it's kind of scary when you're lost. Good thing she trusted the dogs to get her home safely. All right. Awesome. So we're going to respond to the text a little later. I just wanted to give you that little thing about the text just so you could see what it is. And go ahead and fill out those questions I talked about in the video. There should be 2 of them. I need to see those in your books for homework credit. And as always, have a great day, and we will see you later.